they need the light. So
Actually, yeah, it's just when you're looking up. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Anne McCaig. I'd like to welcome you to the 6th Annual Killam Lecture. I'm one of the 4 trustees of the Killam Trusts. With me today are John Matthews, our trustee from Toronto. John, would you please stand? John Montalbano, our trustee from Vancouver. Our managing trustee, George Cooper of Halifax, has asked me to bring greetings on his behalf. Unfortunately, he is unable to be here tonight. His wife, Tia, is with us. Tia, would you please stand and say hello? Thank you. I would like to thank the Canadian Association for Graduate Studies for providing an important public platform each year for the Killam Lectures. The Killam Trust is much more than a financial gift. It is a gift of a good example, an example of people of vision, generosity, and a genuine compassion for others, including those who would come after them. Before we hear from our guest lecturer, I would like to tell you a little of their story. Dorothy and Isaac Killam were married April 5th, 1922. He was nearing 37, she was 22. Born in 1885 in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, Isaac Killam had come from a very modest background, but was already well on his way to becoming the most successful business figure of the first half of the 20th century. He was, in short, a business genius. Mrs. Killam was one that seemed to uniquely prepare her for the role that she was going to play in building up the Killam dynasty. She came from a Missouri family, and her father was an extremely successful businessman and a preacher. Both of the Killams set an impressive standard as individuals and as a couple. They soared to the highest level of their callings in life. But they were a very private couple, and it wasn't until Mr. Killam died in 1955 that we began to see who the Killams really were. At that point, Mrs. Killam could have retired and lived on her $50 million inheritance. However, in complete accord with the Killam way, she took the family fortune and multiplied it handsomely. At the same time, she lived her life with zeal and enthusiasm. She was good at business, but she also loved baseball, and at one point she almost bought the New York Dodgers. When Dorothy Killam died 10 years later, she had doubled the size of the Killam estate to $100 million. The Killams' lives were marked with great success and a shared vision of a bright and prosperous future for our country, a vision they were willing to invest in personally and wholeheartedly. The Killams wanted to further opportunities for advanced education in Canada and ensure that our country would always be a land rich with opportunity and one of the greatest places in the world to live. Today, the market value of the Canadian Killam Trust is close to $400 million. This is larger than the Rhodes Trust in England and not far off the Nobel Foundation in Sweden. In her will, Dorothy Killam wrote, "My purpose in establishing the Killam Trust is to help in the building of Canada's future by encouraging advanced study. Thereby, I hope in some measure to increase the scientific and scholastic attainments of Canadians, to develop and expand the work of Canadian universities, and to promote sympathetic understanding between Canadians and peoples of other countries." With over 6,000 Killam scholarships awarded to date, the Killam vision has been achieved beyond anything Isaac and Dorothy Killam could have imagined. Mrs. Killam also gave large gifts to the Canada Council, and as a result, nearly 500 two-year Killam fellowships have been awarded to leading academics across the country. The Council also awards 5 Killam Prizes annually recognizing lifetime achievement by Canadian researchers in health sciences, natural sciences, engineering, social sciences, and the humanities. And we are so pleased this week that we've received news that the prize will be given yearly now at Rideau Hall by His Excellency the Right Honorable David Johnston. We've been working on that for quite some time, and we're very pleased that he is committed under his term to do that for us. So that will elevate those prizes to where we think they should always be. The centerpiece of the Killam Trust is the program of doctoral and postdoctoral scholarships and fellowships awarded to the top students at 5 Killam universities: the University of British Columbia, the University of Alberta, the University of Calgary, Montreal Neurological Institute of McGill University, and Dal University in Halifax. As you can see, the legacy that the Killams have left our country is extensive and far-reaching, and I'm honored to be a small part of it. One of my favorite activities as a trustee is attending this annual lecture, the purpose of which is twofold. Number one, to stimulate public debate about issues facing research in Canada, and Number 2, to encourage other wealthy Canadians to emulate the example of Isaac Walton Killam and Dorothy Johnston Killam. This afternoon, I have the distinct honor of introducing this year's guest lecturer, an individual whose life story is remarkably similar to that of the Killams. Dr. Michael Lazaridis has emerged from his own humble beginnings to become one of the most successful Canadian business figures of the first half of the 21st century. He is, simply put, a business genius who has blazed the trail to unparalleled success in the global wireless community. Today, Mike is Canada's best-known CEO in the IT field, along with his co-CEO, Jim Balsillie. They have made Research in Motion, which was founded by Mike when he was a student at the University of Waterloo, into the global company whose primary product, the BlackBerry, has transformed the lives of millions. Mike has been named Canada's Nation Builder of the Year by readers of the Globe and Mail. By the way, Isaac Killam once owned the Globe and Mail. He has been listed on the Time 100 list of most influential people, and he is an officer of the Order of Canada. He has been awarded Canada's most prestigious innovation prize, the Ernest C. Manning Principal Award. He is a Fellow of the Royal Society of Canada, and he holds several honorary doctoral degrees. But like the Killams, Mike's story goes far beyond that of his business success. Mike is a great philanthropist whose contributions to the advancement of research in our country already parallel that of the Killams. And I urge you to read the details of his gifts, which are referenced in